Well, welcome everyone. Good Thursday again to you. What we're looking at the polar vortex and our polar jet stream, which is really shifted up. And it happens this time of year. A much weaker polar jet, and that means, well, your cold air starting to move back down into the mid latitudes. And, you know, I've said this before, if it was January, this would be an incredibly cold pattern, but it's not. We're now getting to almost the middle of March as we look at these models here. So this cold that breaks off and moves south, not nearly as cold. However, one has to be concerned that if this is the pattern that's setting up as we move through the rest of March, perhaps we're in for an active severe weather season. Let's see how all this shakes out. As for right now, we're active across the west. Big snow falling right now. Multiple winter storm warnings. As this storm moves through California, Arizona, we're going to see big snow also up into Wyoming and Idaho, Utah. Some of that snow is really going to pick up too here. Places like Flagstaff down to Payson. Now, once you get up into the mountains around these areas, we're going to see a lot of snow, and that will push into Colorado and New Mexico as we move into Saturday. The wind is going to be around too. Red flag warnings, the high fire danger. Look at these winds gusting over 60, maybe even in some cases 70 across parts of New Mexico. You got to imagine that if you're here, you certainly want to be weather aware of the blowing dust. And I got to think, too, the fire danger as well. It's going to be really windy out across Texas and Oklahoma, too. These winds pick up heading into tonight. And then this moves east and things do calm down some. As far as snow goes, most of it confined again to the mountains. Let's zoom in a little closer here because elevation is the key here. Once you get up into parts of Wyoming, especially to the higher elevations, these areas seeing more than a foot of snow, some places even more. Casper, for example, probably going to see 3 to 5 today, 3 to 5 tonight, and that pushes east into Nebraska where there are also winter storm warnings. Let's move south, heavier snow too, into parts of northern Colorado, Utah as well, the Wasatch, even Salt Lake City. We're going to get some snow, but it's going to not be that way at first. It's mostly going to be in the mountains, and then we'll see that pick up, and then the snow also into the mountains of Colorado. And further south, again, north of Phoenix, get up into the mountains. You get up around Flagstaff at about 7,000 feet, and you're up into the snow here. And especially up into the higher elevations where we could see, these are official forecast numbers, by the way, more than a foot of snow. And especially once you get well above 8,000 feet, I think we're going to see some decent accumulation here. This storm moves to the east. Across the northeast, we're starting to calm down some. Temperatures much colder here with snow showers going through today, tonight, into Friday. And then we're watching this system push off to the east. That's going to bring some snow into parts of Nebraska. So places like Valentine, back all the way to the Wyoming border, and then east into Iowa. Now, this system is weakening as it pushes off to the east, so don't expect a tremendous amount of snow in these areas. If we were to go back to the snow total forecast here, these are, again, touch numbers from the National Weather Service. Pretty heavy, though, across northern parts of Nebraska. Get over to Valentine, we're talking about more than 6 inches. Some places could see close to a foot once it's all said and done. And then that band of snow pushes east and it weakens as it heads into Iowa. Central Iowa, we're talking, 3 to 6? Some areas could see 6+. But once you get to central eastern Iowa, we're talking about more like 2 to 4. And then by the time you get really far close to Illinois, barely an inch of snow or so. And then maybe a dusting to an inch across northern Indiana, northern Ohio. And then some lighter snow up around Wisconsin and into Minnesota. All right, back to the map. This pushes off to the east. You can see it weakening and falling apart. Still cold enough, though, for snow, so that means it's going to be chilly. A chilly weekend in store here from the Great Lakes into the northeast, and then some showers here into the Appalachians. It could mix with some snow into parts of West Virginia, and then some snow across the Four Corners states as our next system pushes to the east. That's going to move along the Gulf Coast. It's going to bring some rain. It could be heavy at times here, and some thunderstorms as well. Otherwise, we start to quiet down. It's still going to be a cold weekend across the northeast with temperatures below average here with a decent breeze too. It's going to make it feel blustery. But we start to warm up across the west and also across the central U.S. Temperatures getting back above normal here. And then our next weather maker, an upper low moving into California. This could be the next big storm that really cranks into Southern California, bringing some rain and snow here. Otherwise, kind of spring-like as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. Across the Central Plains, all the way to the East Coast. Temperatures finally popping up above average, I think, into the Northeast, above freezing. And now we're watching this low here. It's going to bring some rain, it looks like, by Wednesday and Thursday. It'll develop on the east side of the Rockies. I think there's some question as to how strong this gets. Will there be any severe weather associated with it? At this point, way too early to tell. We're talking about day 7 from now. And then I think sometime, it looked like it would be Wednesday or Thursday, sometime next week. We're going to get something happening, in my opinion, based on the upper level pattern. This could be a big snow for South Dakota, North Dakota. Let's wait and see. There's still a lot of time. All this could change, and it likely will change. We're looking really far out toward the end of next week and the next weekend. Is this a severe weather maker? Time will tell. All right. Again, we talked about the snow across Nebraska. We talked about the snow that will be falling into Utah and into the Rockies. You can see that rain in the lower elevations, but look how we shift over into Salt Lake City. Once that cold air moves in, boom, we go over to snow all the way down to the valley floor, and then that continues into Friday and then does start to settle down. So temperatures will be on the way down into the Rockies. A closer look here into the east, there's the snow around the Great Lakes, into the Appalachians, where we've had a little bit of snow overnight. That continues through the day today, all the way into this afternoon and this evening, but things do get much quieter. Some lighter snow up across northern New York into Vermont, New Hampshire, and then an interesting thing is happening right here along the coast. Check this out. A little bit of heavy snow trying to develop here into eastern Maine as a wave of low pressure rides up along our front. So that could drop some heavy snow into parts of Maine as we head into tonight, into early Friday morning. There comes that next wave of energy, bringing some snow here from Iowa east with rain showers on the southern side of that. And then, again, maybe cold enough for some snow into the mountains of West Virginia into Pennsylvania, with rain showers lingering into Kentucky, Tennessee, all the way into Saturday. And then there's the wet weather developing along the Gulf Coast. Across the Central Plains, we've talked about the snow here. And if you looked at the GFS just for kicks, long range in the next week, very similar setup. It's got that upper low swinging into California. All right, and then that pushes east, and then a big storm for the west heading to late next week into the weekend. Again, this would be the system that could push into the central U.S. Does it create a big snowstorm, a mid-March snowstorm somewhere in the central part of the country? Possibly. We shall see. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you if you're brand new. Thanks for coming over. I'm Travis. I hope you come back. Someone asked me and said, what does this even mean? If you look at my profile picture, I'm doing this. I don't even remember. I think it was something to do with, if you think about it, all weather's caused by what? Something coming together. You're either getting convergence of air masses, or air's going up into the upper atmosphere, and it's condensing and cooling and causing weather, sensible weather. But usually it's the collision of things that causes big storms. So maybe that's what it's all about. I used to be a chief meteorologist on TV many, many years ago, but a meteorologist at heart and a weather geek. So if you like this kind of stuff, I hope you'll come back and we'll talk more about colliding of things. All right. See you guys. Have a great day.